Hi everyone, welcome to the next installment of Gym Leader Battles with commentary. My name is Jedediah and I will be presenting to you today's match, Shaniqua versus Shawn, the Steel versus Fairy Gym Leader. We have a very interesting matchup simply because Fairy is one of the newest types that have been released in Pokemon X and Y, and a lot of gym leaders and other trainers actually do not know what is Fairy type capable of with such a small pool of Pokemon to play with. But as I personally have faced off with Shawn's team, it's rather menacing, for a fairy type, and moves like Play Rough, Moonblast, as well as upgrades to certain Pokemon, say Azumaru and Marwell, has definitely enjoyed the boost and became rather fearsome Pokemon that should not be lightly dealt with. So here we have an interesting matchup simply because fairies are weak against steel, and we also have Klefkis on both teams who will be a bit of a style of a match this team simply because they'll be thrown around a lot, and we're going to see some great moves by both players, and I hope you enjoy the match today. So as you can see, that's me in the reflection of the screen. First off, we're going to see Steelix versus Togekiss lead up. I'm quite surprised that none of them started off with Klefki, but as for, I guess, Shawn probably predicted a Klefki, and that's why he started off with Togekiss with Fire Blast, while on the other hand, Shaniqua wanted to set up Stealth Rocks, and therefore he sent out his Steelix. So Steelix's primary function is going to set up Stealth Rocks, and he will not be able to die from Fire Blast even if it's gonna OH KO him simply because he has the ability Sturdy. So it's definitely gonna pull off Stealth Rock with no problems. Unfortunately, it'll be a major problem for Shawn simply because Shawn's team had no Rapid Spinners. None of the Fairy types can actually Rapid Spin, I think. And therefore, in the long run, it's gonna hurt Shawn, as we'll see later on the damage that he takes from Stealth Rock. So he switches in his Lucario to try to revenge kill the Togekiss with a Bullet Punch, but I think he overestimated his Bullet Punch, and therefore it did not when it KO'd the bulky Togekiss. Unfortunately, Togekiss Fire Blast missed, so this actually is a missed opportunity for Shawn simply because he could have taken out the Lucario, who actually caused quite a bit of problems later on, as you will see later. So saying this, he switches out to his own Klefki to take the Bullet Punch, which took it quite easily. And of course, the surprise here is that he has a red card and forces him to switch out to Lucario. Although if you ask me, I think it's a little too early to use Red Card because it's better to use Red Card on Pokemon that have already used boost moves like Sword Stance or Dragon Dance, and therefore you force them to switch out and reset the boost. But then again, you know, no harm done in this situation. So another Klefki switching from Shaniqua, and Shawn decides to switch back out to Florges on the same turn simply because he wants to use Wish and pass on the healing back to Togekiss later on. So from here, Shawn is still going to stay in, while Shaniqua decided to go for the Swagger. I am not sure why he used Swagger, because personally I would have gone for Thunder Wave first. To me, I know Florges is a fairly defensive Pokemon with not much attack, even with the special attacking side, so I wouldn't be so worried about it because he wouldn't be able to do much to Klefki. But in the end, he goes for Thunder Wave anyway. Unfortunately, Florges has already put off his Wish. So you will see later on he's going to switch out to actually to his Togekiss to receive the healing. So Klefki is really an annoying Pokemon, as I said earlier. He has moves like Foul Play, as you can see from here, who can take care of threats like Edge Slash. Unfortunately, the Foul Play used here is the wrong situation simply because Florges does not have a high natural attack, and therefore, and on top of that, it's going to resist the dark typing of Foul Play, and it's not going to do a lot of damage. So that was a big misplay here for Shaniqua, in my opinion, because he just simply wasted a turn. So from here, since the Wish is done, he's going to pass it out to Togekiss, and as you can see here, he nearly makes it, just making the HP so that he can survive the Stealth Rocks and actually heal with Wish. And he's also fortunate that Klefki did not do a Foul Play as well, because I think that would have taken Togekiss out. So from here, his Klefki is actually a Light Screen setup. So he sets up Light Screen, which is an amazing move for your team in the long run. You should try out. Dual Screens Klefki with Reflect and Light Screen can be an effective defensive Pokemon in order to allow your own Pokemon to survive attacks later on and actually set up upon your opponent's team. So from here, I'm not sure what's the thought process, but Shawn switches in his own Klefki. And maybe he's thinking that he wants to do the same to his to Shaniqua's Klefki by thunder waving and swaggering. Unfortunately, because his Shaniqua's Klefki actually did a Thunder Wave on his Klefki on the switch in, so now Shawn's Klefsh is going to be slower because now because of the paralysis and both of them having Prankster, the speed that's compared now is going to be faster for Shaniqua. So seeing that the job is done here, he's going to switch out to his Lucario to try to take him out with a close combat. Unfortunately, Shawn actually predicts this and he switches into Florges, thinking that maybe he can actually take attacks. No, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. No, he wanted to switch in to actually get more wishes out. So seeing that he switched into Lucario, he is going to switch out again because he's predicting the Bullet Punch back to Klefsh. So unfortunately, that was actually a free switch in for Shaniqua. And as you can see from here, the Bullet Punch is not going to take a lot, not going to do a lot to Klefsh, and that just goes to show how defensive Klefsh is as a Pokemon, even though it takes a neutral damage from a Bullet Punch with a high attack Pokemon such as Lucario. So he makes the correct move of doing Thunder Wave here, so that in future he can actually be faster than this Lucario and take him out. Unfortunately, this means that Klefsh has to go, but it's okay because Klefsh has more or less served its purpose. It might not have set out spikes in this game, but setting up Thunder Wave and disabling his Lucario is main priority since Lucario is a sweeper, so we cannot let Lucario actually set up. So now he's going to send in a Pokemon that we have not ever seen in previous generations, which is Granbu. Granbu has turned into a pure Fairy type this generation, and with its high attack and the move Play Rough in this generation, it's actually not to be underestimated, especially with ability like Intimidate. So since Lucario has been Thunder Wave, it's going to definitely be slower than Granbu, which is the whole strategy of Shawn's team, to Thunder Wave, slow down everybody, has spikes, and then to outspeed them with his own fairy Pokemon who have a generally low speed. He probably predicts this and therefore he switches in Ferrothorn to actually take the Earthquake. And now Shawn actually switches in his own Azumarill because he predicts a Gyro Ball from the Ferrothorn, and therefore Gyro Ball is going to do neutral damage, and in fact not much damage since Azumarill doesn't have a high speed in the first place. So from here he can actually counter back with Superpower, which I think in my opinion is rather risky because Ferrothorn has very high attack, and I guess I would do it if I was Choice Band. I'm not sure if I don't think Shawn's was Choice Band, but without Choice Band, if you can't one hit KO it, then Ferrothorn is simply going to counter back with his own Vine Whip, and that wouldn't be good for Shawn's situation. But as you can see from here, unfortunately that Shaniqua's Ferrothorn was actually not carrying Vine Whip, but was actually carrying a Leech Seed. So the Azumarill was safe, and now he can actually hit back with another Superpower, taking out Ferrothorn in the process. So I guess he wouldn't have any other better move. Switching in Azumarill was probably the best bet, and then probably weakening it and switching in his own Mawile. I'm not sure if he's updated his team, but Mawile would have been the answer as well because Mawile actually carries Fire Fang. But to my knowledge, at the time of the battle, his Mawile was not running Fire Fang, so he didn't have an answer to Ferrothorn with his Mawile as well. So now, seeing that he had actually switched in the Magnezone, he switched in his own Florges because Florges is a naturally high special bulk. Unfortunately, because Florges was damaged by the Stealth Rock and had taken a lot of damage earlier, he's not going to survive a high special attack from Magnezone, who carries a base special attack of 140. So now he switches in his Togekiss, and Shaniqua probably underestimated him because he does not know that Shawn's Togekiss is actually Choice Scarf. So he lives that Fire Blast, nearly surviving it, and unfortunately for Shawn, he was actually revenge killed by that Flash Cannon over there. So now Shawn's best answer is to actually take it out with the Aqua Jet, which is no problem for Shaniqua. Shaniqua still has other Pokemon under his arm. As you can see over here, Azumarill is nearly out. Switching in Scizor is probably the best answer again because he's going to now take it out with the Bullet Punch. Nothing much that Shawn can actually do. And having the own Klefsh is out, Azumarill is out, yes. So Mawile is the best answer right now, taking neutral damage from Bullet Punches. But at this point he must take Scizor out first, before, if not, it'll be over for Shawn because Choice Band Bullet Punch from Scizor it's going to be a big threat to the rest of Shawn's team, since nothing is actually resisting it. Unfortunately, as I said earlier, I do not think Shawn's Mawile was actually carrying a Fire Fang. So as you can see from here, he actually goes for an Iron Hit, which really does not deal the best damage. And since you know, he is not faster than him. He's not gonna pull off the flinch as well. I'm not sure why he carries a eject button, but as you can see from here, he did, and I was a bit disappointed because I was really expecting a choice band. Um, but anyway, he switched out to Clef P, and he's probably aiming to Thunder Wave him. Oh yes, the other thing, he's carrying a Swagger, and I must say, Swagger and Foul Play is actually quite an annoying combination in this generation, simply because Swagger will just boost the moves to extreme levels, and you know, if the opponent misses, he will attack himself. Good for him, he deal a lot of damage. If he hits Klefki, he's not gonna die. So from there, Klefki can actually use Foul Play, which actually does a lot of damage the higher the opponent's attack stat is, and that's the whole strategy. It's basically Foul Play plus Swagger. Cheap if you ask me, but it's effective. It's effective. But it's also very chancey. You can use it if you want. I don't encourage it due to the chanciness of the strategy. So from here, as you can see, it did cause Shawn's Granbu a lot of problems, but luckily he's able to avoid the confusion damage and actually go for the Fire Fang. I guess yeah, it's very hard for him to have switched in Granbu earlier. There's no opportunity for him to actually switch in and use the Fire Fang. Lucario comes in, kills him off swiftly with his own close combat. Not sure why Fire Punch. At this point, I'm thinking whether Lucario is carrying Choice Band. I'm really not sure. And best of all is I'm not even sure why he didn't carry Mega Lucario, because I think Mega Lucario with adaptability is actually a very strong Pokemon that he could have used against the team. I'll ask him later on. So from here, unfortunately, Shawn's player of misses, and Lucario is going to just take him out like that. So unfortunately for Shawn, he had some um, very bad, not, I wouldn't say it's bad moves, but I guess because of the percentage chances of certain moves that were rather risky, he actually lucked out on this match. So it was an exciting match, however, simply because I think Shaniqua, considering that he was a steel type and an advantage over Shawn, he actually managed to take out most of his Pokemon. I mean, Shawn managed to take out most of Shaniqua's Pokemon, and I think that's very commendable. So congratulations to Shaniqua. And as you can see, this is the commentary for today, and I will be back soon with another commentary. So any questions, just private message me, and we'll be seeing you soon. All right, thanks. See you.